Deep in the heart of Saudi Arabia sits Prince Sultan Airbase. It is a sprawling, heavily fortified military installation that serves as the central nervous system for United States air power across the Middle East. Central to these operations is the E3 AWACS, an airborne early warning and control system. This aircraft carries no weapons and executes no attacks. Instead, the massive radar dome on its fuselage serves as a persistent, high-altitude eye for the entire fleet. The AWACS functions as a force multiplier. By itself, a standard fighter jet has a limited field of vision. When linked, the jet's effective range is expanded by the massive radar radius of the command plane, allowing early detection and precision targeting. This makes the AWACS the essential hub of American aerial operations. If this platform is removed from the network, advanced U.S. fighter jets are effectively flying blind. On March 27, 2026, Iran exploited that reliance. They launched a coordinated, high-volume barrage of low-flying drones and ballistic missiles directly at the Saudi airbase. The strike bypasses the heavily armored fighters to hunt down the base's logistical support. On the tarmac, Iranian munitions successfully destroyed the AWACS and multiple mid-air refueling jets. The physical damage totaled between $500 and $700 million. Because these are highly specialized airframes, the military cannot immediately replace the lost capacity, creating a gap in regional surveillance. While the Pentagon attempted to minimize the loss, satellite imagery of the wreckage quickly leaked. Simultaneously, Iranian officials released social media videos showing themselves drinking juice as the missiles launched, mocking the U.S. defense response in real time. This combination of precise hardware destruction and public mockery forced a reevaluation of U.S. security. It also raised a technical question. Iran achieved a level of precision that their internal surveillance networks cannot support. To strike this accurately, they needed help. The accuracy of the Iranian strike is now being linked directly to Moscow. Evidence suggests a live intelligence pipeline flowing from Russian surveillance assets to the Iranian military. This coordination is part of Operation Hidden Hand, a covert Russian initiative designed specifically to neutralize the U.S. military's regional strategy, Operation Epic Fury. Russian military satellites identify gaps in American radar coverage, feeding pinpoint coordinates directly to Iranian missile batteries. Streaming this data closes the gap between Iranian intent and technical capability, allowing missiles to navigate U.S. defenses with high-confidence accuracy. Russia provided the vision, and Iran provided the strike. By simply sharing data, Moscow orchestrated the removal of critical American assets without deploying a single Russian soldier to the battlefield. This loss has placed the Pentagon in a strategic bind. The U.S. must now decide whether to accept the degradation of its aerial dominance or commit to a full-scale ground invasion to dismantle Iranian launch sites. A ground war would carry massive domestic risks. Analysts warn that an invasion of this scale would likely require the reinstatement of the military draft. Potentially, current political leadership is leaning toward that escalation. President Trump has indicated a preference for a heavy, long-term military response to counter the Iranian strike. The destruction of a few planes in a Saudi desert has set a sequence in motion that could force a new generation of Americans into a massive land war. Beyond the military theater, the United States faces a specific economic exposure that distinguishes it from nations like India, where only 6 to 7% of the population participates in the stock market. In America, 55% of the population owns stock. This means the majority of the middle class has their retirement savings and personal wealth tied directly to global market stability. Market volatility followed the strike immediately. Oil prices are climbing, and the Nasdaq dropped by over 12% as the threat of prolonged war increases. For many Americans, this isn't just a headline about a foreign war. It is the active erosion of their 401ks and long-term financial security as the markets factor in the cost of conflict. Modern warfare has shifted. By using proxy intelligence to neutralize key military assets, an adversary can trigger immediate, widespread financial pressure. For a nation where over half the public relies on market stability, a single successful strike in the desert now translates directly into a loss of household wealth for the American middle class.